Hey everyone. So I realized I haven't been making a lot of videos in my apartment because I've been trying to do a little more, on-site recording, which I know a lot of you wanted, but it's been a while since I've done one here, really done one here. That wasn't just kind of it's been crazy since the earthquake, a real video blog. So, vlog, sorry. So I thought I would try one, and I was thinking this time of year, coming up soon actually, is something called Children's Day. It's not really a Japanese holiday. It is a Japanese holiday, but it's also kind of throughout Asia. It's celebrated in Korea and China and Hong Kong and various areas around Asia, but really only in Asia, not so much anywhere else. But for those of you who watch anime, you may recognize these streamers. Of course, usually they're hanging this way and they're blowing kind of like this. But these are carp streamers, and Kids Day used to be Boys Day. So I should probably clear that up right now. It used to be Boys Day, and you would hang one of these for each boy that you had in your family. Now, because they're trying to make it a little less boy-ish for the holiday, they've changed it to Children's Day, and some people hang one of these for each girl or boy, each child that they have. And the reason this exists is because it's believed, it's based on a story that if a carp swims upstream, it can become a dragon. Now, that's the idea of, small, weak personality becoming a big dragon if they fight. It's a really good idea and a really good thought, and the way these are made is they look like they're blowing into the wind. So it's kind of just a cool little thing. Now, I don't have any kids, but I just thought these were cool, so I thought I would get them because they're kind of adorable. And I was thinking about trying to hang them up at my desk or something, but I have a mini version that I made instead, so that's a little big to be hanging up over my desk because I don't really have a cubicle. It's just literally a desk in a table group because that's how Japanese offices are set up. So that's not going to happen. But Kids Day, really popular, and there's also certain kinds of mochi wrapped in like flowers and other things that you can eat. But basically, it's just let's celebrate kids' personalities day. It was made into a Japanese official national holiday in 1948, I believe, and it's part of this thing called Golden Week. There's a whole bunch of holidays that are together. There's actually one for someone who's English, of all people. You can take a guess who. But actually during the same week. Nobody knows that there is a holiday for him because it's during Golden Week, and nobody really knows what the Golden Week holidays are unless you're a real, buff at holidays and Japanese culture. The only one I really care about and the one I actually know is Kids Day, which is on the 5th of May. But anyway, so this time of year, Kids Day is coming up. Also, a holiday week where we just get a week off for fun. Also, the time of year is this kind of spring. It's after cherry blossom season and after the start of the school year, but it's still getting warm. The weather's getting nice. People are hanging out more. As you can see, I actually went out. You can probably guess I was in Harajuku. But anyway, this time of year, a lot of people are making bento boxes, lunch boxes. Now, people make them all year, but this time of year, everybody wants to show off because now you're going to the park more and everybody's sitting there and thinking, I'm going to see what you guys are doing. And everybody wants to show off. So the new lunchbox items come out, of course, the new school year, so everybody wants to have the latest and greatest stuff. For some reason, nobody cares as the year goes on, but right now, everybody wants new stuff. So you can make a lunchbox and go out and sit and eat it and see how pretty it is. But I thought, well, why don't I talk about lunchboxes? Because, to be honest, I have a lot of lunchbox stuff. And this isn't even all of it. I have a whole bunch sitting in front of me here that you can't see down here on my lap. Because I just have so much lunchbox stuff. And I thought, well, I should share. So the first thing you need to decide when you're making your lunchbox is what do you want to eat? Of course, you can make onigiri, rice balls, in which case you can put them in a little triangular lunchbox like this, which is just a one size one. So this is more of a snack. It's not really a meal, right? But if you're hungry, you could get a bigger box like this and put maybe 2 or 3 in here and then put something else underneath to make it a little more rounded. Something like that. Definitely doable. Or you could think, well, I don't really want, rice balls. I'm sick of rice balls. I've had rice balls for the past 2 weeks. Okay, fine. You can make a sandwich. Actually, this is like a lot of you have heard of Uncrustables, the little round sandwiches they have in the US and maybe Canada as well. And I don't know if they've spread anywhere else, but they're made by Smuckers. But this, you take your bread, you put it on there, you put your fillings in, and then you press that down. And of course, you'd have to put it on the counter, press quite hard. But once you do that, you have a sandwich that's that size. Not bad. I mean, save your crust, use it for something, make bread pudding out of it, but not bad. You can make a quick sandwich that way. Quite nice. Pick your choice of fillings. You don't have to go with the peanut butter and jelly version. That's great. And I've used it a couple times. I've discovered that bread that's been kept in the refrigerator during the hot seasons of the year does not do so well, so make sure it's room temperature. My bread tended to crack when it was cold, and that didn't work out very well. But anyway, maybe you decide, well, okay, these are great, but these aren't very pretty. So maybe you want to make a sandwich still, but you can always take a cutter. This is, I don't know if you could tell, but a pig, maybe a bird. I don't know what this is. Maybe another bird or cat or something. I don't actually know what that is. And then this one is actually a cat. So you take your sandwich, let's pretend that's a sandwich, and you put this on top, and you cut your sandwich, and you have little pretty cutout sandwiches. Kind of nice. This is something that's new this year. I saw this and I said, oh geez, I have to have this. Hadn't seen these before too often. I mean, a little now and then, but they became really popular this year. So I had to get one. And I haven't actually used this yet, to be honest. But I'll get there. Maybe this week. So you could make sandwiches that way? Sure. But one more thing. Or you could just, cut out a Hello Kitty shaped sandwich and stamp Hello Kitty's head onto it. Has a little stamp here. You could do that. I tend to use this just for toast. But hey. Notice all of these cut the crust off. I don't know why, but people don't seem to like crust on their sandwiches. You can actually buy bread at the stores without the crust. Of course, a loaf of bread is a square, about this big, and it's cubed everywhere. And then they do sometimes cut off all the crust, so you just have a block of white bread, no crust. It's kind of interesting, but I feel like that's a waste. While it does taste better, perhaps, without it, I don't know. I would rather have the crust there. It feels weird to not have it. I feel like I'm wasting. But they do make good croutons. So, if you decide you don't want that, you can always go for, a standard small box that puts a lid on. A little snap lid. Slightly larger box, snap lids. Do that. Or you could go for one of these little stacky types. Bottom, you put your rice in. It's got a little rice pack. Top one, you put your main meal in. And in the very, very top, you put your chopsticks. And then, of course, you would take and wrap it. Once you do that, you decide if you want to put it in a bag. And you stick it in there. In my case, this is a foil-lined bag. So stick it in there, and it keeps your food warm or cold or whatever. Which is nice because in the summer it's really, really hot, and your food will probably spoil on your way to work or school or wherever you're going. So it's really nice to have something that's not going to spoil on you. But once you decide what you're going to make, then you get to have fun and make it pretty. So, of course, you have your utensils, which aren't necessarily prettifying, but you can have cute utensils, little Hello Kitty things, or themed chopsticks or something with little cherry blossoms on them. Cute little sets, of course, but I think it's more fun to really get in and decorate your insides of your bento. So, you can take, and if you have small things, you can put them in little cups and line your container. More little cups. Or bigger cups, of course. There's cups of all different sizes. I think I have a few bigger ones. So here's a few different sizes and shapes. I also have stars and hearts and ovals and other things. But you can put things in little cups. They have paper ones. I prefer the silicone because they're reusable. Although I do have some paper ones. You can cut out, use the mini cookie cutters to cut out ham or cheese shapes to decorate everything. And if you have mayonnaise or some kind of barbecue sauce or dip, you can take a little cup and put them in there. I have lots of little different cups. If you have liquid sauces, obviously sticking them in those cups, they're going to leak all over the place, so you got to have little bottles to put them in. Once you've got everything arranged, make it all pretty. Maybe you've got some things that, would be nice to have on little forks. Let's see, grab a few forks here. So you could grab a few forks and stick those in your lunchbox. Like that, see? And you could put those in. It might make things a little easier to pick up or just be cute in decoration. I mean, if you're going to do that, you might as well stick these in there. I'm sure most of you have seen the green grass that goes in between. I do have some of that in here too, but you know what that looks like. Well, why not put some animals in between? It's interesting too. Or, what the heck, why not some little music picks? There, let me see that. Little music picks. I mean, you can buy all of these. Most of these items are actually 100 yen. I got them from my 100 yen shop, so basically a dollar store. Also, their seaweed is really popular as using as a decoration, and they sell like little pens and things so you can draw all over stuff. But I'm a little bit lazy, and things, they touch the top of the box or something, they get all smudged. It's terrible. So I'm kind of lazy and use these little cutouts, and you press them, and it's like a paper punch. It's like a hole punch, and you can punch out a face, this face, or this face, out of seaweed. And I can just make like a little black design with that, well, dark green, I guess. And there's lots of little things you can do. I mean, you can shape your food with this. You pack your rice in there. I don't know if you can see that very well. And put that in there. And it makes the little rice ball triangles. Mini ones. And then you can wrap those with seaweed or put faces on them or whatever you like. Or give them ears and make them into animal heads. Really, you can go all out with things. And the great thing is animals seem to be the big food thing. And it kind of freaks me out because all those little food things, they have faces, and some people don't like eating things with faces. Well, you're in luck. Most of mine have faces and cute things, but they do have simply flowers and plants and animals. Actually, I have a flower thing here that I'll explain in a minute. There's also trains and various things, driving and cars, and because of course boys don't want to eat little animal things. They'd rather have something a little less feminine, so it does exist. But another thing that seems to be really popular this year are mini sausages. Now, when I lived in the west side of Japan and I was, a student, my host mom would cut the one side of a sausage, so you get this little mini cocktail frank, and she would cut it like this, and then cook it, and it would spread out, so it would look like a little octopus. Now, I thought that was awesome back then. But lately, it's becoming even more popular to do that. I've been seeing these little things, which are cutters. Now, perhaps it's lazy. I could just do this myself, but it's kind of cool. So, there's a couple here. This one makes a tulip. And so you put the sausage, or the hot dog thing in here, the frame, and you just close it. Press it down, and then open it back up. And if you fry that, it'll make a little tulip shape, which if you look there, you can kind of see it. These other three... these other three are used for making sunflowers. This one cuts them in half. It cuts the hot dog in half, which then you take the ends and stick them in here to make the centers. And then this one cuts the little zigzag petals around the outside. And I probably should have cooked some up to show you, but you can imagine what they look like. Now, this was not 100 yen, but that's okay. And actually, neither was this one. But everything else I got here, I believe, was 100 yen. So you can make pretty lunchboxes with just a bunch of stuff from the 100 yen shop. Now, of course, a lot of my stuff is not all that new and not all that unique, and people would look at it and think, ugh, that's definitely from a 100 yen shop, and they would know that. But who cares? The idea of having a cute lunchbox is so interesting to me that I don't even care what people think about it. I love making them, and I should probably take more pictures of the lunchboxes I make, but honestly I'm a little embarrassed by them because they're not quite as well composed as they should be. And I have books and books and books, which are over there. I don't really want to show them because they're copyrighted, but I have books and books and books showing me how to make lunchboxes. And I think that the idea of making an adorable little lunchbox is great. So I'm always looking for new ideas, and I've shown you a bunch of my tools and the things that I have, and I have more. Geez, I have more. There's a whole bunch of stuff sitting here that I probably should talk about, but don't really have time. But what I was wondering is, this is really popular in Japan. And I went bento crazy when I first came here. I bought a whole bunch of stuff and took it back with me to the US when I was a student, and then made a few lunch boxes for myself, but I didn't really know what I was doing, and I didn't buy the right stuff because I hadn't been doing it long enough to understand. But what I was wondering is, does anybody else make lunch boxes? Are you lunchbox crazy? And if you do you make really cute lunches, or do you make just really interesting gourmet looking lunches? If you could just take a quick video or a quick snapshot, and I want to see what everybody does for their lunch boxes. And perhaps if everybody, shows enough interest, I might actually make a little tutorial on how to make a pretty lunchbox. That might be a bit of work, but I'll try to do it, and if you're interested, I will definitely do it. So first you got to show me yours though. All right, so good luck. I want to see what everybody comes up with, and if you don't make lunchboxes, that's all right. Just show me your awesome lunch that you make. It doesn't have to be pretty and Japanese. I'm just curious because I've heard in Europe you get, sometimes 2 hours for lunch in some countries. And I wonder, do you just go home? Do you make an awesome lunch that you just spread out? Do you have a fabulous lunchroom? Do you just go to a cafe? What does everybody do for lunch? I take a lunch with me 4 days a week, and on Friday I go out. What do you do? But until next time, thanks for watching, and I hope you make fabulous lunches. Cheers!